Hey everyone, this is producer Peapod here. First off, thank you so much for understanding our delay. I kind of had a little bit of a medical emergency. I was in the hospital for a bit. So this episode actually was recorded 2 weeks ago. Hope you enjoy it. Hopefully you went out to King of the Kill. That's available on replay on demand, IWTV. And again, thank you so much for supporting us here at Real Vile. Here's the episode.
911, what
Whoa, everybody. It's time. It's that time. It's Real Vile time, everybody. We're always excited here in Real Vile land. And of course, you know me. It's the G to the E to the R to the M. The T stands for the, but you already knew that. And I'm about to rip it up in a modern way, so it's got to be Mr. Germ T. Ripper. And I'm here with my fabulous, beautiful, outrageous host, the Prime Minister, the Sinister, Mr. Ruthless Chris. Tell him what's up, Mr. Ruthless Chris.
What's going on, everybody?
That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, everybody? And of course, we have to love, and we will love the Tower of the Hour, the Princess of Power, Kelli the Killer Miller. Kelli, tell the people what's really going on.
It's all going on. Lots going on.
It's all going on. It's all going on indeed. I like the sound of it, baby. I like it. I love it. Give me more of it. But in the meantime, I know you guys have been super busy with lots of things going on. Give the folks over there in Real Vile Land a little taste of what's going on in your lives before we get on to our movies.
Well, I mean, by the time this episode comes out, we will have already done the festival, tournament, the King of the Kill tournament, and as of right now, I am planning everything I'm going to do tomorrow night for our midnight movie marathon that is presented by Severin Films, going through all the badass box of movies that they gave us and trying to figure out what to give away, what to show. Yeah, it'll be fun. I hope I meet and talk to people there, and I hope you all have had a blast by the time you hear this.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
very.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What were you? Ruthless Chris, jump on in there and tell us exactly what's going on in the world of Ruthless Pro Wrestling, in the world of your movie festival concert. It's a huge weekend you got going on. It will, by the time this airs, it will have already gone by, but hell, talk about it anyway, baby.
Ramping up for this thing. It's been an extremely busy week. Every single day I've been working hard to get in this thing. I think I've done something like 16 podcasts in this last 2 weeks, just wrestling podcasts, getting interviewed. Had to go pick up a casket, and now I got to figure out how to get that up to Michigan, coordinating with all these people. It's been a mess, but this is pretty much a culmination of everything I love in one weekend. You got your horror movies, you got your wrestling, and you got your fucking extreme music. So, this is kind of like a culmination of like everything that kind of is in my wheelhouse of interest. And I finally get to throw something big for everyone else. And it seems like people are really pumped on it. So hopefully all the hard work pays off. As you're hearing this, hopefully the weekend went well and everyone enjoyed the show. Fingers crossed. So, I mean, yeah, it's been just a lot of that. I haven't had a lot of time to myself this week. This is the most time I've had to myself was today, aside from this podcast. But, this isn't a wrestling podcast, so it's a good change of pace.
Well, you had a little break riding with me up to Detroit last night to grab my friends from the airport. We had fun anyway. Well, you had a fun
night. To Detroit to the airport is not a break because you don't know how
afterwards. Whatever. We had fun last night.
It's one roundabout in Detroit. Airport freaks her out.
I don't know if any of our listeners are Seinfeld fans, but our friends brought us the coolest fucking package. They brought us this big ass gift bag, and it was filled with a bunch of foods, but everything in it was a direct reference from Seinfeld. Like, we had the Drake's coffee cakes, we had the Juji fruits, we had a fucking chocolate babka.
Black and white cookies,
pretzels, black and white cookies,
Bosco
Ovaltine. Like, me and Chris
Junior
are huge
mints.
Seinfeld fans, but like I'm still like flabbergasted by how much thought and appreciation was put into that fucking gift. And I know they listen to this. Thank you guys.
Thank
Very,
you.
very cool. Of course, we love gifts here at Real Vile. So if you would like to send us presents, we will make that happen. We accept gifts of all sorts here. But in the meantime, I really haven't been doing a whole lot except for working and sleeping and watching horror movies. And speaking of horror movies, our feature film for tonight is 2019's Bad CGI Sharks by the podcast filmmaking collective Amajama. A very exciting film. It's a meta as all heck, and it's the type of thing that you put on, you expect to be horrible, and it's actually really smart and really funny and very enjoyable. But before we get onto that, let's talk about what we've been watching. Hey, Ruthless Chris, what have you been watching, baby?
So this will come to a surprise as a lot of people, because it is such a well-respected classic that I haven't seen it until recently. I watched The Changeling for the first time.
Yes.
George C. Scott. I love that man in almost anything. I think he's a fascinating actor. It blew my mind because he always looks perpetually old as shit, even in like Doctor Strangelove. So while I was watching it, I had to look up how old he was in that movie. He was 10 years older than me. People just age so differently now. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But it was I loved this movie. I don't know why it took me so long to get around to it. This is like the Cadillac of ghost haunted house movies. Like it's really elegant. It's really well made. Like even when not a lot's going on in the story, like the settings are really big and grand. The house it takes place in is really cool. A lot of cool visuals. And the storyline is extremely original. Like, it's the ghost had other motives than what you normally get out of these ghost movies. And it was more like instead of somebody being haunted, like someone helping, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, everything about this movie I loved. I was gripped by it. I'm wish I would have watched it sooner. I'm really excited to jump into the all the DV or the Blu-ray extras and all that. See all that stuff. But yeah, I loved it. 4.5 all day. That thing is a fucking classic. Highly recommended. The Changeling.
I absolutely agree with that. I really like this movie. Same as you. A couple years ago, like reading a lot of like horror blogs or like articles and stuff. This is one movie that's always mentioned, and it's one that I never really checked out until within like the past 5 years. But what I did, I was also like pleasantly surprised. It's a nice slow burn, but it's a great one. I enjoy this one. I think 4.5 is a fair rating.
Very, very cool. Yeah, no, I had never watched this until Severin came out with the collector's edition Blu-ray, and I bought it as a blind buy. I had never watched it before, and I was as well very pleasantly surprised. I didn't know anything about it, and it's probably one of the scariest haunted house films I'd ever seen. I gave it 5 stars. I love it. It's such a smart, well-crafted film. Highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it. What's it streaming on? Do you know?
Tubi. Everything on Tubi now. Tubi's got everything now. Like even it used to just be like just for like the no budget and side movies. Like they're getting everything now. Like you can watch like the John Wick movies on Tubi now and all the Jaws and shit like that.
I love Tubi.
Yeah, I love Tubi.
It's the best streaming service, honestly. I pay for Shudder too, but I think between those two, they are the best streaming services that are available in the United States. I don't know what they have in other countries.
I could get by with just that as a streaming service.
Yeah.
I think if there isn't even a possibility to pay to get rid of the commercials, is there?
No.
Yeah. If I could pay to get rid of the commercials, I would probably get rid of other streaming services. I just don't like commercials.
Doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was just like $2-3. But anyways. Yeah, so 4.5, 5 stars across the board. Watch it on Tubi. No excuse not to, because everything's for free on Tubi. But yeah, Changeling is such a great movie. How about you, Killer Kelly? What have you been watching, baby?
I've also been digging into Tubi this week. I kind of fell into like a I don't know, early 90s through late 70s hole, I guess, everywhere from 1979 to 1990. But the one I'm going to talk about is probably one of the later ones. This one is extra weird. This was The Suckling, 1990. This one I watched on Tubi, of course. Tubi, I believe it. You can watch it on Plex as well. This one is directed by Francis Terry. He also directed Flesh Eating Mothers, which keeps getting suggested to me in my algorithm on Tubi. I am yet to watch it, so I might check that one out because this one's kind of a hoot. But anyway, so yeah, The Suckling. This follows a lady. Her and her boyfriend, they got pregnant. He doesn't want the baby, so he brings her this place that is an abortion clinic. It is also a brothel, and it's in like this really like shitty fucking rundown house. He takes her in there, and she doesn't want to do it. She's like does not want to have an abortion, but he's just like, all right, just come talk to Big Mama. So she goes,
Large Marge sent you.
yeah, let's just talk to Big Mama about it, and then he'll decide. Well, Big Mama ends up drugging this poor girl, and like with some tea or something that she gave her, and gives her the abortion. She gives it to one of the other sex workers that work in this brothel. And it's like, dispose of this like the way we do, And she like throws it into the sewer. Well, this sewer just happens to be being leaked into by some toxic waste, which drips upon the baby. The baby grows extremely large and just kind of like covers the entire house. Like it just like envelops the house and then is like bursting through and like killing all these people on the inside, But at one point it takes a weird turn and it's almost like they try following the story of what's going on with the people on the inside, and the one guy like who's being a big badass and like, but it's getting hostile in there, so it becomes like a hostile environment, and he's kind of being a dick to everybody. But this thing's like bursting through windows, like stabbing people and all that shit. I really want to tell you guys the ending.
I've seen it
Because can
Classic.
I like? Does anybody care if I?
No, don't spoil it, Kelly. A lot of people haven't seen The Suckling.
Okay, but watch
do spoilers around here.
It's like the fact that this is an abortion clinic that also doubles as a brothel is the least weird thing about this movie. The
Fair
practical
enough.
effects are awesome. It's a very fun fucking movie. And what happens at the end with the baby and its mother, it's all I'm gonna fucking say. It's worth the watch. It's not a good movie by any means. This isn't something that I would like. But it is goddamn entertaining. Like I give it 3.5, honestly. Just because how entertaining. You don't see what's coming. You don't know what the fuck is coming.
All right. Sounds like a good one.
Suckling is a good time.
I haven't seen The Suckling, but from everything you said, it sounds like something I would thoroughly enjoy. I love mutant movies, and it sounds strange to say out loud, but abortion movies, movies about aborted fetuses are always great, except for Red Christmas. I hate Red Christmas so much, but yeah, no, The Suckling sounds amazing. And 3.5 stars. What did you say it's streaming on?
This is on Tubi.
Tubi, of course. That should be their motto. It's on Tubi, of course. Of course, it's on Tubi.
There is one
cool.
scene like after the abortion, like it's obviously in like a kitchen. They show all like the crude utensils that they're about to use for it and shit. But after the abortion, they show her just like wiping down this like coat hanger. Chunks of baby, then she just folds it back into place and hangs her coat on it. Like
I love that.
like
I love that.
nothing happened.
Sounds disgusting.
It's very
Chris, you said that you've seen The Suckling. What would you rate it? What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, you have to understand my rating goes with me loving shit and shitty movies. No, this is not a good movie for most. To me, it was entertaining as shit. I loved it. I've watched this a few times. It's been a number of years since I've seen it, but I think I've seen it like 4 or 5 times in my life. With that being said, I give it a strong 3.5 to 4. There's no way to be bored with it. Mutant fetuses, really ridiculous fucking shit. I loved it. Would highly recommend it. Pretty sure it's on Tubi.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Well, everything you've said makes it sound like the type of jam that I could get down with. Let's keep this terror train chugging along the tracks, and I'm going to talk about the 1986 genre classic, and I believe it was the first film both written and directed by the master of horror, Stephen King. Yes, it is Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
I hadn't seen this since I was a little kid, and of course, that Green Goblin truck scared the crap out of me, as I believe it scared everybody at the time. And if you're not familiar with the movie, it's a group of people try to survive when machines start to come alive and become homicidal. It's got a great cast. Amelia Estevez really kicks ass as the hero slash the badass hero, and everybody's in this. Yeardley Smith, which you won't know the name, but when you see her, you'll be like, oh, that chick. She's like a character actress from the 80s that was in a ton of stuff. Pat Hingle, everybody is like kind of a character actor that you've seen somewhere else. I love that about this, that it's such a unique cast. Great soundtrack provided by AC/DC. And you know what? Watching this as a middle-aged adult, I just feel like it's actually really smarter than it's given credit, because a lot of people talk about how cheesy it is, how bad it is, or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure if it's because of the wild explosions or the far-fetched plot or what have you. I thought it was really well done, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I bought the Blu-ray. That was the Vestron reboot, and when I get the time, I will definitely dig into those extras. I gave Maximum Overdrive 4.5 stars, and you can stream it on Pluto TV or Tribeca Shortlist. I'm guessing you guys have seen Maximum Overdrive. If you have, what do you think about it?
I mean, Maximum Overdrive is a classic. It's one of those ones that was always playing on TNT growing up. So like I've seen this a million times, but like in chunks and pieces. And I own it as well, and I've watched it in its entirety. I think it's hilarious that it's the only movie Stephen King directed himself, and he was so high on cocaine he says that he doesn't even remember making it. I think that's pretty fucking funny. A lot of great character actors. It's really funny how they don't really explain how the mechanics of how machines come to life, because there's like things that don't have electronics in them that can kill people, like sprinklers, like that. Machine guns. It's a fun movie. It's definitely far superior to the other version of this, which is called Trucks, which I'm not sure I would fully recommend, but it's funny too. So yeah, I'd give it a good 4.5 as well. It's a fucking classic.
Why don't we keep going with chugging along the train? And Ruthless Chris, what have you got next for us, baby?
The next one I watched was pretty interesting. It was a documentary with a storyline kind of inserted that they tried to make like part of the documentary. This was called S&Man, but it's spelled S&Man. Jesus Christ. So what it is a documentary about extreme cinema. And they go and they interview a bunch of people. They interview like Fred Vogel and Krusty Wilds and those guys while they were in the middle of making, I think, Penance. They go in like to their actual studios and all that. They go and talk to Bill Zebub, a bunch of like really gritty filmmakers, like really underground filmmakers, but they incorporate also this storyline that you don't really know isn't real until it kind of keeps moving along. You'll start to get the idea, but about this guy, they meet him at a convention, and he's selling these homemade DVDs called S&Man. And what it is, it's like he makes what he thinks his version of, and his version of extreme cinema is, which is him stalking and killing different women. And there's like different volumes. There's like 8 volumes when they meet this guy, and they kind of get fascinated with him and start like wanting to follow him around figure out his process, and then they kind of figure out that, well, maybe this guy isn't really making movies. Maybe what he's doing is real. So there's a documentary about extreme film, but there's also an extreme storyline going on within the film. Um, it's not as successful as I'd like it to be. It was definitely a much cooler idea than it turned out in the final product. But with that being said, it was definitely an interesting watch. Especially like if you don't really care about like the fake storyline they have in there. It was cool to like, because they really do, interview, like the toe tag people and all that. So, you do get an actual documentary in this about extreme film. So yeah, it was worth watching. I watched it on Tubi. I believe it was 2016. I give it probably about 2.5, 3, probably 2.5. Sandman.
Sweet. Sounds like a very interesting film indeed. I have to check that out. Sandman on Tubi. Kelly, have you seen this one?
I don't believe I have.
Well, all right then. Well, in that case, what have you been watching, Killer Kelly?
Well, I almost fell into a Wes Craven hole this week, but I figured I'd space him out throughout the next couple weeks. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I've been on a couple decades old what's the word I'm looking for? On a thing. I've been on a thing, all right? I can't think of the word. But anyway, Summer of Fear. This is a Wes Craven one. You can watch it on Tubi. This one is from 1978. It is directed by Wes Craven, starring Linda Blair and fucking Fran Drescher is in this one. This follows Linda Blair. She's a young girl. Her name is Rachel in the movie. She's does like competition horse riding and stuff where they do all like the cool tricks and all stuff like that. She seems to have a pretty happy life with her boyfriend and, lives with her parents somewhere out in the country. Her cousin, Julie, her parents died in some sort of weird accident. So she has to come live with her. And, Linda Blair or Rachel, she's trying to be all like sweet and nice and like accepting her into her house and stuff. And she just notices something weird about her. Like this girl just gives her weird vibes. Like right off the rip, her horses are super afraid of her and shit like that. And like, that's not weird. Like her horse Sundance. Like Sundance fucking breaks the window and shit one day after they go shopping, like almost in like a way to attack her. And this just gives Rachel like weird vibes. Well, anyway, things start happening where she seems to be doing shit to Rachel that kind of like makes Rachel feel that there's some sort of like supernatural shit going on. Like she's some sort of witch or in some sort of witchcraft, and that's what this is. This turns into a witchcraft movie. It's the storyline's pretty decent. I actually really enjoyed this one. It's PG-13. It's not like gory or anything like that. It's all very storyline heavy. I'd still give it a 3. I liked this movie. It's suspense. It's more suspense than anything. I compared to something that you'd see from like Hitchcock or something, I guess. With at the end, the way like the makeup effects go on the witch I wouldn't call anything like that Hitchcocky, but the suspense part of this movie, it was decent. Fran Drescher in it is Rachel's friend. She does not speak like the nanny at all in this movie at all. Like I almost didn't even realize that was her because she didn't have the whole, the nanny, like the whole voice going on. But I don't know. It was an all right movie. It was a decent movie. 1978, Summer of Fear. Solid little witchcraft flick featuring, Linda Blair.
Very cool. Summer of Fear. I'll have to check that one out. It's definitely a Wes Craven film I haven't seen. And you said it's on Tubi?
Yep. Tubi and Plex.
Tubi and Plex. Very, very cool. Sounds like an exciting time indeed. The next film I'm going to talk about is a very special film that is extremely hard to find. Although now that I'm looking at this, it says you can rent or buy on Prime Video for 99 cents, which I find hard to believe, but this is 2014's Joe Stauffer directed Pieces of Talent. The way that I've heard about this film from multiple people, including Chris, was, just that it's basically a film that you can only buy from the director or directly from somebody who made this film. And it's just like, it feels forbidden. It feels like a forbidden piece of cinema. And I so do enjoy that. But when I sat down and watched it, it's very smart, very meta. Since we are dealing with a meta comedy, there's nothing funny about this movie, but it's very meta in that it's a movie inside of a movie, and you got a filmmaker making art, as he claims. But if you're not familiar with the film, it's about David, a local filmmaker who becomes obsessed with Charlotte, an aspiring actress working as a waitress, and begins filming a gory masterpiece. And this masterpiece is supposed to star her. I'm not going to get into too many details because I don't want to give away the ending. But if you have any interest in extreme cinema or just something that feels a little bit more realistic, I highly suggest Pieces of Talent. Everything about this movie is great. I love the direction. I love the cinematography, the soundtrack. From beginning to end, it's just a top-notch film. I give it 4 stars, and I'm actually surprised to see that you can rent it on Amazon for 99 cents. Because besides that, you go to piecesoftalent.com and you can order yourself a physical copy. I, like Ruthless Chris, was lucky enough to have a copy sent to me by Mr. Mike Burns. So thank you, Mike Burns. But you already talked about Pieces of Talent, Chris. Do you want to go on about it again, or are you good?
I'll throw a couple things in. I think that it's a superb film. It's highly overlooked, and it definitely needs a bigger audience. More people need to be talking about this. It is an extreme film, so I mean, it does go down that genre. But he's actually going to be at the tournament, the director, over the weekend. So I'm looking forward to chopping it up with him. And he's going to set up a table and be selling the movie. So hopefully some of you tournament goers picked it up. And he has expressed interest on coming on. So hopefully we'll be talking to him soon. So,
Hell yeah.
Very cool. Kelly, have you seen Pieces of Talent?
I don't believe I have, honestly.
I'll let
It
you
is
borrow
a-
a copy.
It's a wild ride, and yeah, you got to watch this film. It's definitely a work of art. I give it 4 stars. What do you give it, Chris?
I give it 4.5. I think it's a very important work. And I hope the guy makes more movies because he's only made one so far.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. All right. One more time around before we get the filmmaking collective, the podcasters, Majama, on here to talk about Bad CGI Sharks. Ruthless Chris, what do you got for us, baby?
I got a real pile of dog shit. So speaking of Mike Burns has a tendency to gift me a lot of movies. One of the things he gifted me recently was the 6-pack of all the Paranormal Activity movies. I enjoyed the first one, and I enjoyed the last one. I haven't seen most of the ones in between. So like I was just like, I'll fucking throw one of these on. I'll give it a whirl. I think I liked the third one okay. I watched part 4. What a sizzling hunk of dog shit this fucking movie was. I gave it 1 fucking star. I'm gonna tell you that right off the fucking bat. It was boring as shit. It follows around an annoying teenager and a bunch of little kids. Nothing really fucking happens in it. There's like 2 scenes of terror at the end. I fucking hated it. I hated everything about it. I was so fucking bored. It was one of those things where I knew it wasn't going to be a great movie, but I put it in because I came home late and I didn't want to put anything I really had to be too invested in, or like I would get too invested in because I was tired. I figured I'd fall asleep. I made it to the credits and I was mad I did. Fuck that movie.
Damn it.
I'll never watch it again. Sizzling hunk of dog shit. Thanks for the DVD pack, Mike Burns, but part 4 sucked balls. Fuck that movie. That's Paranormal Activity piece of shit 4.
And if somebody did want to see a piece of crap movie, where would they find it streaming?
No fucking clue. I watched it on a Blu-ray. I don't. If you really want to look for it, that's on you. I'm not recommending to any fucking buddy. I'd rather pound my balls flat with a hammer than watch that piece of shit again.
Fair enough. I hated the first one so much that I haven't seen any of the sequels. So therefore, I would not recommend any of them either. Kelly, have you seen Paranormal Activity Part 4?
4, I can't recall. I've seen, I don't know which ones. I've seen some of them. There's so many. It just feels like they were all just being put out so quickly. So, like, I don't know which ones I've seen and which ones I haven't. No. If I have, that one wasn't memorable to me.
Fuck that movie.
Well, hats off to you, Chris, for watching the movie so we don't have to watch it. Paranormal Activity 4, a piece of steaming crap. Caca in the noonie duty. And let's keep this terror train a chugging. And Killer Kelly, what have you been watching? One last round. Let's keep it going.
The next one I watched is called The Uninvited. It is directed by Charles Gard and Thomas Gard, starring Emily Browning and Elizabeth Banks, who is the director of Cocaine Bear.
Oh, this isn't the Uninvited I'm thinking of.
Nah.
This isn't the one about the fucking cat within a cat, is it?
No.
Oh, you should have watched that. That's a far.
Yeah, I was about to say that's probably better than this one. This one was just kind of boring. This follows Emily Browning, Anna. She got out of it starts off where like she's getting out of a mental hospital. Her mom died in a terrible fire a few years earlier, and she's getting out and going home. Well, amongst coming home, Elizabeth Banks, who used to be her like housemaid or nanny or something, is now her dad's girlfriend after the death of their mother. Well, her and her sister are super weirded out by this, and they instantly get into this whole idea that she has something to do with the mother's death. She started the fire. So it's all based around that. She's really having like, it also kind of takes this like supernatural turn as Anna's having these like weird visions of her mother and like what happened to her mother, and like it gets really heavy, like the shit that she's seeing and what's actually happening. But things aren't always as they seem. It's not exactly what you think it is without giving too much away. It was an all right movie. It's a suspense movie. It did have a decent twist, a twist that I did not see coming, but I don't know. It just felt very cliche to a lot of other movies that are in the same genre, like psychological thrillers with, is the mom evil? Is she not? Is the kid crazy? Who knows? Those sort of things. So, but yeah, I give it a 3. Yeah, it was all right.
3, that's fair enough. This is a newer film, isn't it?
2009. So not super new.
Not that new.
No.
And is it streaming anywhere?
Prime. I watched it on Prime.
Prime, very cool. Okay, well, I haven't seen it. Chris, have you seen this one or no?
No, I thought she was talking about the 80s film about the shark or the cat within a cat, which I would highly recommend. I have not seen this one. The other Uninvited, though, is a fucking stroke of awesome.
I'm sorry, it's not on Prime. It's on Paramount Plus and Pluto. I was wrong.
Paramount Plus and Pluto, if you want to check that one out. In the meantime, I got one last movie to talk about before we get to our guest, and it is 2015's. This one is once again sort of meta, sort of a movie set inside of a movie in a way, and it is 2015's LA Slasher. This movie, I thought it had a lot of potential, and it could have been great because it has a great cast, it has a great soundtrack. I just think that the idea is dated and really doesn't still stick. And I had a real problem with like the overlit cinematography. It kept taking me out of the story. But for those of you who haven't heard of LA Slasher, it is about driven to rage over the tawdry excesses of reality television. A self-appointed cultural crusader kidnaps several very famous nobodies to make his point, but his crimes only generate more tabloid frenzy. So it is a smart movie, and I think that maybe in the hands of a different director, it could have been much better because I loved Andy Dick as a slasher, and it was Martin Owen's first full-length movie he did. So, you can't fault anybody for their first movie. Some people knock it out of the park, but unfortunately, I just felt like with all the great elements that he had in his hands, this could have been better. Andy Dick is a slasher. You got Eric Roberts doing a cameo. Danny Trejo's in this movie. Dave Bautista, and then a slew of different reality TV show stars are on here. Brooke Hogan and so forth. It's just it had so much potential. I wouldn't say don't watch it, but if you like the idea of somebody killing reality stars, which I don't even know are reality TV shows still a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're just getting worse. It's
Okay.
like, what was that mom one where like the dudes are like never mind.
Anyways, I just didn't know that reality TV shows were even still a thing because I haven't seen them in so long. But yeah, I gave this 2.5 stars out of a possible 5. And if it does interest you, it is on Peacock, Plex, Prime Video, and Tubi. Yeah, great soundtrack, great cast. Just wasn't really my cup of tea. Chris, it looked like you've seen LA Slasher. What did you think of it?
I actually like it. But while you're saying it's dated, I got it like when it first came out, which was like 8 years ago, so it wasn't dated then. And I thought it was a fun fucking movie, and some weird cameos, like Dave Bautista shows up in it at one point. I thought it was an interesting movie. I've watched it a couple times now. I enjoy it. I would actually recommend it. I'd give it like 3.
Fair enough. Killer Kelly, have you seen LA Slasher?
I didn't think I did until you said Andy Dick, but I
You
feel
watched
like
it with me.
after you said that, I was like, I think I have, but I'm not even gonna lie, I don't
The
remember.
guy was in like a white suit the whole time, and he had like a mask on. He was driving around in a minivan with like a machete.
Yeah, when you said Andy Dick, I was like, I have seen this fucking movie, but I don't remember it enough to make a proper judgment on it.
Fair enough. But yeah. I give it 2.5. Great cast, and I did appreciate the use of Divine's song "I'm So Beautiful" multiple times on the soundtrack. So that I popped for that. The soundtrack is great if you like a poppy, retro dance music, and sometimes I do, and I appreciated that for sure. But with our rounds of movies we've been watching, let's go on to our interview, shall we?
And now for our feature presentation.
Whoa, everybody. Very exciting. We have not only we're talking about Bad CGI Sharks, we have the podcast filmmaking collective known as Maja Ma here to have a exclusive interview with. It's very exciting. It is Jason Ellsworth, Matthew Ellsworth, and Matteo Melinari. I hope I pronounced that correct, Matteo. Is that correct?
That's absolutely fine. Yes, perfect.
It's fine. Good enough, right? Good enough for government work.
Yeah,
Very
it's his
exciting
fault for
to
having that last name.
I know.
What's that?
It's his fault for having that last name.
Yeah.
Well, it's a simple enough process to change it. It's easier
it's
than
true,
a
man.
sex
What the heck
change.
you doing?
I know.
Inconsiderate, honestly.
I like to keep the charm.
You're
It's
just
okay.
Jones
We
from
won't-
now on.
We won't hold it against you. For the people out there in Real Vile Land that don't know too much about you guys, could you give them a little rundown? Let them know what Maja Ma is all about.
We are the guys that made Bad CGI Sharks, and
That's
thus
about it.
ends our list of accomplishments. We have a regular show every Thursday, Majama Jams, where we sit on this very couch we're sitting with you guys and break down sometimes obscure, sometimes not so obscure movies. And in general, we're just a couple of movie nerds who desperately wanted to bring absurd comedy to the world.
Hey,
Very
not far
cool.
off from us.
No, I
Very-
can tell by the backgrounds behind you guys. You're our people. We have similar aesthetic tastes here.
Yes.
Very, very cool. We love we love finding the similarities, right? And we can hold on to those. But it was funny how we stumbled across Bad CGI Sharks. Our leader and champion of the real vile land, Mr. Ruthless Chris, watched it when we were preparing for a Shark Week episode, and he kept raving about how great this movie is. And slowly but surely, each one of us has watched Bad CGI Sharks.
Twice now, actually.
Right. We've come to the equal conclusion that this movie is amazing. And
you guys are awesome.
Well, I'm in love with it. I know that Chris and Kelly are both in love with it. What made you come up with such a meta idea? Was the idea first going to be sharks out of water, or how did it come about? Tell us a little bit about your writing process for Bad CGI Sharks.
Jason, go ahead and blah 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 too. We were basically living the old cliche out here in LA, just trying to write scripts and send them out to people and bang down doors. And I think one day we had just eventually had enough of it. I think it was around the time we viewed, I don't know if you guys are of a similar ilk and you know the movie The Amazing Bulk. It's a Wild Out release. The Amazing Bulk, we watched that and we'd seen some bad low budget movies, but our eyeballs digested that. And I think, no joke, we had a moment of, okay, guys, we can make a movie. And we said, you know what, no matter how crappy or low budget or whatever means we have to use, let's just do it. We'd been watching, I think, a lot of the sci-fi shark movies at that time, kind of getting disappointed in them. I don't think anyone goes into a sci-fi shark movie wants to adore it more than me. And yet, I don't know, they just kind of felt flat. No type of character development or any type of sense of humor. The kills, infamously bad CGI. We decided on that. Mateo one day spit out the title. What if we called it Bad CGI Sharks? Dumb throwaway joke that stuck. And then I'll try to say it quickly, the whole story, but it's one of the most serendipitous things ever that Mateo had an old buddy come over from Italy, brought a friend he never met. And on the last day of them being here, he's like, what are you guys up to lately? They're like, we want to come to America to hopefully do a project to showcase our audio-visual skills. And we'd already been talking about doing this low-budget movie, peanut butter jelly. I don't know if I will ever encounter such a serendipitous stroke of luck in my lifetime, but Emilio Pozzolini and Alessandro Arciacatino. Hopefully my white mouth hasn't. You say the names.
He tried. Emilio Pozzolini and Alessandro Arcidiacono.
Oh, God, it's so much more beautiful when it flows out with that musical Italian rhythm. But yeah, they came into our live. Alex was on all the visual. Emmy was on all the audio. And they just completely elevated the whole project. So very serendipitous stroke of luck. I honestly can't believe how lucky I am, as most of the movie is due to more talented Italians' craft work. It's true.
In watching it, and I've watched it a couple times now.
I adore you. Thank you.
Well,
brother.
like you said, we were preparing for Shark Week, and I really enjoy the shark subgenre. But a lot of times they do you were sandwiched right in between Sharks on the Moon or Shark Side of the Moon and Sharkula.
A Tubi original.
Yes.
Oh, it was something.
I'm sorry. What was the second one after Sharks on the Moon? You said
Sharkula, which literally was a decapitated shark head with bat wings flying out of the water, sucking people's blood, and got like an old man in goth makeup hanging out in his basement and shooting in their backyard. It was definitely something.
That's what I'm saying, man. You hear that and like my heart wants to love it, but then we would watch these things and I didn't feel the oh my god. So that's the genesis. We wanted to try and make something where after you heard the description, you watched it, you were actually like, holy crap. Because the way you just described that sounds amazing, and I haven't seen it in fairness, but yeah, most of the movies I sat down to watch, the shark ones, I was like, why am I not enraptured when I watch the actual product? So, yeah.
Yeah, and then Cruel Jaws was in there too.
That was our main movie for Shark Week, actually.
Yeah, dude. Cruel, you can't do better than this. The So Bad It's Good. Cruel Jaws is definitely on there.
Yeah.
But it seems like aside from just writing, starring, and directing, you guys did all the music and stuff too, right?
Our Emilio is still the composer, and then we have some rapper that we found just somewhere I don't know exactly where.
I did the obligatory.
Oh yeah, it was you. Yes, I forgot.
The obligatory lyric explaining rap song over the end. I was more than happy to do. But yes, other than that, Emilio completely did an original soundtrack for us. That's why I say, like, I don't know. We would have been like putting in cheap $35 stock music without him. And now we actually have a bunch of comments that single out the soundtrack. So yeah, 1000% credit to, other than the rap song, 1000% credit to Emilio for our OST.
Yeah, I mean, like, because some of the songs you could tell were like directed towards like fully for the scenes of the movie, like lyrically and everything too.
Oh, dude, he dove in and spent time, and he would hit us up like, here's what I'm thinking for this scene, and we're like, yeah, dude, just run with it. This is amazing.
So, is that the only rap track you've ever recorded?
Oh no, the pseudonym I use for it, which I don't know, it's in the credits. I don't know if many people catch it, but that's Master Clown Shrooms. I did that before. Funnily enough, I ran around SoCal in a bathrobe and a giant Flavor Flav type chain with long hair, rapping as Master Clown Shrooms for about a solid 7 years. And your reaction of laughter to me saying that makes it all worth it, my dude. My God, you're just tickling me. Thanks. But yeah,
you guys are definitely our people. I can already tell. Like, our type
I love to hear it. I love to hear it.
If it tells you anything, I literally have a Cool Keith tattoo.
Hey, my dude, that's awesome. I did the collective I was with. I was in a group for a while, and we opened a show that Cool Keith was on. That was one of the cooler moments. I mean, again, it was like hours between when I went on and he went on, but still, it was the same show.
It counts.
It counts still. So yes, that was what I did. Funnily enough, I kind of stopped doing that because Sharks came into prominence, and I kind of was like, hey, I got to go try to make a movie now. But yeah, that was what I was running around doing before the movie.
Hell yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, no, that does sound serendipitous how that you just happened to run into people that were willing to help you with the visuals and the music and everything. And I was just going to say, as a genre film fan, just adding Italian filmmakers or Italian people making your film makes it so much better, in my opinion. Maybe I watch too many films put out by Severin, but Italians just improve genre films. So kudos to you for that.
I'm an old man and I'm new to this. People can comment, and someone just commented the so much intercourse line on the thing. Is that
that was me?
Oh, okay.
that line.
I was like, wait a minute, I know what that line is.
The haunting, like the way it's delivered, like just so much intercourse. Like, I fucking die laughing every time. When I was watching again today, I had the subtitles on. I actually just took a picture of just that scene and put it on my Facebook.
You get the big smile on my face, my dude. I love to hear it. That honestly, that's all we wanted to do with the movie. You know, we get lumped in with the horror, and the community is absolutely beautiful. I'm shocked at how passionate and loving and supportive the horror community is. But I always feel like if someone was to watch this as a straight horror, I'm like, man, I think you guys are going to be disappointed. We've had a couple of cases of that. So we're just goofballs, and we wanted to make what was essentially a comedy, even though, like I said, we watched a lot of shark movies. So bottom line, to anytime we hear someone's actually cracking up at it, that's great. That was the whole point. Love to hear it.
I will say I would definitely categorize as more comedy than horror.
Yeah,
I was laughing quite a bit through the whole thing. I mean, it's with the shark under the sheet in the beginning. That's when I knew I was in good hands.
Right.
We also watched it in like the perfect conditions. Kelly and I watched it together. We went in completely blind.
Yeah, man. I was just looking for shark movies. I was like, all right, we're watching this one. We had a projector set up in the backyard with a big screen.
Wow.
We had already had a couple cocktails in us and all that. Like, we were in a right frame of mind to have some fun with this thing when we first watched it. Yeah, we had a great old time, and then we had to message Germ about like, yo, you gotta check this fucking movie out.
That's amazing.
The title, wait.
Yeah, the title hopefully lets you know what you're in for. You know,
it lived up to the name.
Pretty straight to the point.
Factoid. We actually, our SRS Cinema, who signed us and distributed us, was like, yeah, man, I got I don't know if you guys know House Shark by our boss Ron Bonk. Another, if you like comedic shark movies, I actually think that one has a pretty good sense of humor too. But he was like, yeah, man, I was able to get House Shark on Walmart shelves. It's actually been pretty lucrative for me. Like, that was part of his pitch. We're like, oh, that sounds great. Turns out Walmart did not want to put us on the shelves because of the name, because they said they don't like to intentionally tell people the CGI is bad. They just like to make a cool cover and then trick people. So after they buy it, they know the movie's crap. So I was like, seriously, man, we literally got denied space on retail shelves because of that name, at least in the case of Walmart.
We were giving BAD CGI Shark movies a bad name.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Bullshit.
Which is funny because it's kind of a meta commentary and a skewering of it too, you know.
Yes.
So that almost somehow backfired in the end, even though it's what makes it great.
I think we get a lot of love and attention because of the name, and I think we probably get a lot of eye rolling and dismissal because of the name. So you know, the ones who find it.
And we know exactly what we can do and what we can't do. So we never pretended to do something that is. We wrote it knowing what we could actually pull off,
which was looking like a bunch of morons running through the night.
Yes. And so we never tried to have the master scene too dramatic or too.
We got one in there.
We do have one. Took a couple of takes, but and somebody blinking too much. But
we watched this Michael Caine video on acting where he says if you want to appear strong on camera, don't blink. And then if you guys look at the one dramatic scene in the movie, it looks like I'm having a seizure. My eyes are just blinking constantly. Like, yeah, I didn't internalize that much.
And my, as I tell everybody, my acting range usually is with or without a beard, and that's where I stop. So we did that.
So that means we can still do one movie with you without a beard, and it'll seem fresh.
Yeah, exactly. It would be a completely different take.
There you go.
Well, I would say, Matteo, your portrayal of the director, I thought that was genius. You know, that the planting the muse and the idea into their heads, and you just keep popping up sporadically and helping the narrative along. It's such a smart idea. Was there any films that influenced the idea of the director or how the script pushed the story forward?
That mostly was the actual story. It's from this guy here.
I had
from this one, which I'm pointing at.
Yes, Matthew, we kind of write as a conglomerate, and then I think what became the final script you guys see, I'm pretty sure I'm like, Matthew, I think you just wrote that, even though it was definitely a conglomerate effort to get everything down into glob. But
the definitive shape comes from Matthew, and he had the idea of the.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I pulled I think we wanted the narrator to have that kind of backbone structure because it was our first attempt to make a film, so it kind of helps us layer the literal beats of a movie that you'd be accustomed to by having someone spell it out for you as we went. So it's almost kind of having that backbone structure to fall back on when we were worried about where we would go to next.
Well, it was a result of we had 3 definitive versions of the script, and as much as we wanted this to be as much as we wanted this to be a goofball fest, the first 2 versions were like literally nothing but winking, we're in a movie jokes, like obnoxiously so. And I think I was like, we need to break out of this. And I think the Bernardo character was kind of, like he said, our device to expose the audience to what was happening. And I remember after we came up with it, I had this, I had a real vision of like, what if a Marx Brothers type character was leaking down onto a more modern Apatow type comedy? And I was pretty upset because Matteo, we got a little bit of a gap in the group, but we're all obsessed with age gap in the group, but we're all obsessed with comedy.
That's a big gap.
So Matteo will he's always showing us the more classics, the Black and White, the Abbott and Costellos, Laurel and Hardy's, the Marx Brothers. We kind of grew up on we're bred on Kevin Smith and Aqua Teen, Hunger Force, Kids in the Hall type stuff, me and Matthew. So yeah, I definitely wanted to see what if this kind of old timey Harold Lloyd looking character dripped onto a more modern stoner type back and forth comedy. And then Matteo completely just, we tried to write it, like you said, knowing our friend after 15 years or so, but Matteo just completely took it and run with it. And we're like, that's exactly what we wanted from Bernardo, man.
Very cool.
It was also a device because since we shot Bernardo at the end of shooting the movie, so in our heart, we knew that had one scene, for whatever reason, been... If we couldn't shoot some scene the way we wanted, Bernardo could intervene and explain what it was supposed to be. Or
it's like the ultimate writer's convenience.
Yeah,
yes,
pretty much.
yes, yes, yes.
If any is struggling screenwriters out there, just write a Bernardo character that can speak. What is it? Robert McKee said, if you have a plot hole, just show it to the audience. Just tell them everything. It's a huge.
It's the famous adage: "Tell it, don't show it."
There you go.
For when you're making movies with a $6,000 budget, that's all you get.
Fucking exposition dump. Just have a director narrator type.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's my 1 minute film school.
Make exposition a character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, like after we talked about it just now, like the idea kind of reminded me of George Carlin in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as Rufus, who would pop in and out and explain the story or explain what's going on. So yeah, there's so many great influences, which I don't know if you were conscious of or not, but everything from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to the Wizard of Speed and Time, I think it's called.
I don't think I know that one.
And that it's from 1986. But then, of course, I don't know if you've seen it either, but there's a 2017 German film called Snowflake. It's an action film, very Quentin Tarantino influenced, but it's about screenwriters and whatever they write comes true, and they don't figure it out until like halfway through the movie, and they're writing the movie to make sure that they survive the movie that they're in. And I was like, wow, this seems very similar in a comedic genre, a different genre, but using the same device. And I love that, so it's a great idea. You guys really killed it with Bad CGI Sharks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that movie myself. Like, I really like the one lady that, like, the shark's coming into it. When you use, like, the guy's arm, like, waving at her, and the shark's like, well, just hook me up and make me better. Basically, up until the end of the movie, she's still, like, making the baby sharks better, like, updating them. It's a fun movie.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, that was the desired effect. It's nice to know it translates, and it's not just dumb stuff we thought was funny, Yeah. Because it feels like that sometimes. You're just writing the stuff like even just when we filmed the episode today, we were just cracking up on the couch like, I hope other people find this funny too, right? I hope.
Well, at one point you said that Walmart didn't want this on the shelves there. So is there physical copies that can be purchased somewhere? Because I would love a Blu-ray of Bad CGI Sharks. I would love, to have the bonus features explaining everything. Is there physical copies anywhere?
Yes, srscinemastore.com, our official store for the label we're on. They always have the DVD copy, I believe pretty cheap for $10. I think Ron will occasionally, if he's doing like a sale or like a bring back some classics, because
shameless product placement.
There's the Blu-ray, and then there's the wide release.
Okay.
There is also special, this, which is Bad CGI Sharks and House Sharks.
That's the other one by our distributor.
Ron. Oh, nice.
Then we had a special VHS copy.
The best one.
There was only the 25, but then he did more, and then the extra special one, the Japanese release.
Yes, this is Japanese, which says something in Japanese in the back, and we trust
it's definitely something. It definitely works. But yes, now that we've visually bragged about all our different mediums, srscinemastore.com should always have the DVD available. As far as Blu-rays, like I said, I do think they're put up sporadically because they were limited edition, possibly eBay, or if you actually the type of cycle that monitors the SRS store consistently. But yeah, absolutely, you guys can get the DVD for I think $10 on there. And we also have, might I say, another shameless plug. I think we got 20 T-shirt designs actually. Yes. We just dropped 3 new ones. Matthew designed. We call them the Kool-Aid collection because they're based on classic Kool-Aid packed aesthetics. Got the Sharks T-shirt there. So. Any of the 5 people out there that might want Bad CGI Sharks t-shirts, srscinemastore.com. You click on categories, Bad CGI Sharks, 20 plus t-shirts, Blu-rays, DVDs. Yeah, I think we still have the face mask covers and stuff. Hey,
right now.
My man of his word. So yeah.
Very exciting indeed. I'm gonna have to get a Blu-ray copy of Bad CGI Sharks. Besides Bad CGI Sharks, what do you guys work on? I know that you have your podcast. Why don't you talk about that for a minute?
The podcast was a brilliant move by Mateo, as we had the entire crew set to come back. We were all pretty gung-ho. This actually worked, and Emmy and Allie were going to fly back from overseas. And then, which is probably a common tale that millions have, COVID just cock-blocked the whole thing. The world shut down for a bit. And so right after having this insane high of actually finishing the movie, which is what we always wanted to do, we were kind of just sitting around. So Mateo was like, hey, what if we just did a show? He pitched us a little thing. I think he did 3 of him on the couch and showed us how it could go. And I was like, I think we were kind of hesitant at first. There's like a deluge of people out there talking about movies, but we tried it. And it slowly grew. I wanted to have a visual behind us, but our big ass heads are in the way. My brother decorates it with crumpled yellow.
Let's see if we can do a human dolly.
Give him a taste of that. You can kind of see.
Oh, yeah.
Paper everywhere.
There's Zach and there's paper.
Look at them abs.
All right. They're unreal.
A house pillow.
Abs like that.
Totally caught that house pillow over there. That's awesome.
Oh, you are our people. To be real, I literally only discovered that like this year, but I watched it 2 days back to back and I was hooked. My golly gee. If you don't get creatively gassed off house, are you even an artist? Is the question. But let me not digress too much. So yes, we try to have
the films are our bread and butter. Like we don't review, like what's going on in the cinemas. Like we talk
sometimes
real vile for a reason. I'm known as the dog shit guy. I like to scrape the bottom of the bottom barrel.
Well, then you would love the show.
Kelly was just talking about the Suckling right before you guys came in.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
The abortion clinic with the fetus that comes back to life starts killing everyone in the.
Yep, that's the one.
Yes. All right, well,
one movie per week, James.
Right, so basically that exact type of vibe. We try to pick movies, hope we haven't seen. We get a lot of Italian movies because of this dude, a lot of obscure ones, and we sit down on this paper-filled couch and we try to break it down. Hopefully it laughs for people, but it's a good way to continue what we love to do and the interaction back and forth while we hopefully charge towards making a second movie with the crew, which is all my heart wants in this life. I miss my crew so much. But yes, every Thursday, guys, if anyone wants to tune in and be kind enough to, we would love to have you guys. Every Thursday we drop a new episode. Movie nerds, come on. We try to have the vibes of a fun sleepover. A bunch of giggles.
And it's a YouTube podcast, correct?
Yeah, YouTube. Just search Majema Jams. We just dropped our today's episode 63.
Ghoulies.
Been doing it, covering the iconic Ghoulies today.
Ghoulies, that's weird. I just threw that on for my dogs when I left the house yesterday. It's crazy, dude.
Does that?
It was on Tubi. I was like, yeah, you guys can watch the Ghoulies. I didn't see this since I was little,
Everything good is on Tubi.
Dude,
Tubi
for
was
sure.
Right? The real movie nerds are starting to figure this out. I discovered Tubi about 4 years ago. Bad CGI Sharks dropped. They let us know we were on Tubi. I looked at it and I was like, okay, this seems like the type of place you drop Bad CGI Sharks, a bunch of zero budget unknown movies. In the time since then, they have added so many big names, so many cult classics, so many mainstream movies, it's grown. I cannot believe the gold mine that is Tubi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had
my friend is in town from California right now. He was just talking about that. He's like, I remember about 4 years ago when I started checking out Tubi, it wasn't like this. He's like, but lately it has blown the fuck up with so much good shit. And he's right, dude. Tubi's a mecca for strange, obscure, not even obscure. There's a lot of good shit. Not even obscure,
That's what I'm saying. It's so crazy because you can find the weird culty stuff that the nerds like and want to hunt down. Mm-hmm. Now they also have, like you said, they have the mainstream movies you love. It's been a massive growth.
Also have to see Jane Doe's on there. There's some other big ones too. Jaws, I think.
Very
all
big
the Rocky.
We had James L. Edwards on a couple weeks back who made her name was Christina, and he was starting Bloodletting and a bunch of the old J.R. Bookwalter stuff. And he said that he's able to still make movies and actually make good money because of Tubi. That Tubi actually really takes care of people very well, as opposed to a lot of the other streaming services.
Except for us, but
I was like, yeah, man, Tubi. Hold hold on, get your friend over here to bring me a step-by-step course.
I'll send you a link.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
But you did mention that you hope to make another film in the future. You want to. Do you have a script? Do you have an idea? What is next for Majama?
Me and Matthew, we have an idea we've been kind of kicking around. A lot of people ask about a Sharks sequel. It's funny when we
A lot of people.
A decent amount of people ask. These two are the self-deprecating ones that'll never ever admit we have any love. But some people ask about the Sharks sequel. When we first finished rapping, I was irritatingly gung-ho. I was like, we discovered these characters, we got to keep going, and this story could go on. And then, I don't know, just it's been a couple years now, and I feel like from how people talk, I think we're blessed enough to have that special vibe to Sharks where people enjoy it. I wouldn't want to try to replicate that and have a flat sequel. So we don't have a concrete idea, but some of the, like Matteo said, we tried to work with what we knew we could pull off, which was kind of the, classic Abbott and Costello back and forth between some morons. So we definitely kind of want to do something that's more of an actual comedy. It is, like I said, it's a double-edged sword with the Bad CGI Sharks name, because we get a lot of, you guys meant to make this a piece of crap, right? Like, it's a flaming pile of garbage, and that's what you meant? Like, you didn't, and it's like, I get what you're saying, and we all love the So Bad It's Good, but we would never, ever make something intentionally bad. We might make it intentionally goofy to try and make you laugh, but, I mean, look, people can not like the movie. That's fine. Not everyone's going to like the movie. I've seen people shit, but, yeah, we just tied up as a double-edged sword, so I think we'd like to try and do a straight-up comedy, so that then if people say it sucked, it's like you just failed at a comedy. But yeah, we like I said, we kind of had this interesting Venn diagramming of the horror world, and horror people are just such amazing fans. I just worry sometimes, like I said, with the Sharks thing, that someone's going to put it on expecting blood, and they're like, what the hell is this? So we'd like to shoot for a straight comedy, really just triple down on that. I think that's kind of been the obsession of Majema. Loose ideas, playing off, the brother back and forth that we did, and tying in some of the realness of our stories. Matteo coming out here from Italy, but nothing concrete. It's on my mind constantly. I don't think there's anything else I want more, but yeah, I can't give you guys anything concrete other than the show right now.
I wanted to do unusually large seahorse sooner or later.
Unusually large seahorse gets a lot of attention. It's on the back wall of.
We have a T-shirt.
It's true. T-shirts for sale.
I like it already, just by the name.
It's on the back wall during Matthew's interview in the movie. There's two things, but yeah,
we have several ideas for also a couple of TV shows and stuff, but at the moment we're just like languishing into
swallowing.
Yes, exactly.
I love the guys so much, our team, that if they were here, I do think it would kind of be a little more fire to be like, well, hell, the team's right here. We could do it again. I think as much as I do want it, we're like, what is Ali in Vietnam?
Is in Singapore.
Singapore. One of our dudes in Singapore, he has a kid. Other guys in Italy. So I feel a little, like, how are we going to get the team back together? But yeah,
we will make it.
That's
sooner or later.
The heart wants. That's my only goal in life. I'm just meandering through to movie number 2. Hey, Ron.
I love the idea. There's so many great ideas swimming around there, and maybe a spinoff where the director, Matteo's character, maybe he can have some wacky adventures like Borat, and discover how the world works, and it can be like all sort of pranky and put it together. But
so it's pretty much the story of life,
right? We've thought about it.
You always thought it might be a good cartoon show with each new week, a new script, a new genre, something to kind of play with that idea as the movie magician.
I like it. I love it. Give me more of it.
Those little baby shark stooges. I know there's money in those hills. None of us, like, all of us are the pinnacle of dumb, mushy, creative brain. I couldn't connect a business thought, just misfiring synapses. But I know there's money in those little cute shark stooges. I know it. I just don't know how to figure it out. Someone out there come and make Majama merch with us. We're not smart enough.
And probably they will steal the money from us because we're not.
Squeeze that lemon,
But,
that lemon.
Yeah.
Well, us here at Real Vile, we love Bad CGI Sharks. We love you guys, and we are very excited to have you on the show. It's been a blast interviewing you. You have any last words for the people out there in Real Vile land?
we're incredibly grateful you guys had us on. It's always nice. It's far too easy when you're an unknown artist to get mopey about what you haven't accomplished or forget what you did. So we absolutely appreciate you guys having us on to share some kind words. Like I said, if anyone out there is a fan, srscinemastore.com, and get yourself a copy of the movie and a t-shirt. And please, if you love movies, if you're a dumb nerd, if you like comedy, if you like cacking on the couch with some friends, Majama Jams on YouTube every Thursday. We'd love to have all our movie nerd weirdo buddies come stop by and hang out with us.
And also, if you like to make movies, make a movie.
Yes, you can do it.
It could be bad. Doesn't matter. You learn so much that the next one will be better. Nowadays, everybody has a studio in their pocket. And so just say you can make a movie and you learn the craft. Maybe you like it. Maybe you hate it. Because there is also a lot of people who try and say, oh, my God, this is nothing like I would expect it. So it's also good. But it's much better than staying on the couch dreaming of, I wish I could make a movie. Just say, make it.
And if you make the movie, then you can go back to sitting on the couch and doing a TV show about sitting on the couch, talking about how you made a movie.
Exactly. And it's a meta.
Your existence is so meta.
Like, everything about you is meta, and I love it. We love everything about you guys. So everybody out there in Real Violand, Bad CGI Sharks is streaming on Plex and Tubi for free, so you have no excuse not to watch it. It is an extremely fun adventure comedy horror film, heavy on the comedy. And if you like to laugh and you love meta films like Gremlins 2, then you should see Bad CGI Sharks. It's extremely fun. Everybody here, Real Vile, highly recommends this movie. In the meantime, Ruthless Chris, Killer Kelly, what would you like to say to the people out there in Real Vile land?
Shit, man, watch this movie. It's a good time. It's a funny movie. Check out their podcast. We're happy to have them on our show tonight. Yeah, good times.
You really hit her with the deer in headlights on that
You
one.
did too, man.
I saw it happen and I was like, I'm not saying a word.
Fuck,
I'm just gonna let her bask.
Here we go.
Let's see how this stew turns out. No, but thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yes.
You guys have been blessed. I have actually been watching the YouTube channel. I have a lot of fun with it. I very much like the running jokes that you guys do, like brought to you by this, or like.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun. You guys are definitely our tribe, if that makes sense. So hopefully we see more out of you guys along with more episodes of the podcast. And when you guys do get that second movie out, let's have you back. Talk about it.
Absolutely. We would love to.
Awesome.
Thank you
Have a good one, guys.
And in the meantime, I would like to say thank you again to Majama for joining us here on Real Vile, and God bless America and send nudes.